Hello my lovely people, I'm Zoha and welcome to Zohainsight. I hope you all are doing great. Today I'm going to share my review for a very newly launched product by Huda Beauty in India, and that is this Naughty Nude Eyeshadow palette. I bought this palette because I loved the color story at the very first glance. So this is how the Huda Beauty Naughty Nude Eyeshadow palette looks like. This also comes with the outer packaging having all the details about the palette. So yeah, I'm gonna keep it right here. And this is the gorgeous palette. This time there is no eye pattern on the palette. This time they added this handwriting by Huda itself. This naughty word is in the handwriting of Huda, and it's a beautiful pinkish rose gold kind of font which is embossed. The naughty is embossed on the palette, which looks really nice and stunning, quite sophisticated, minimal yet very classy. This opens and shuts with a click sound, so it's great. And this is how the palette looks like. When you open the palette, you will get a super good quality huge mirror and 18 delicious pans of eyeshadows. Why delicious? Because each and every shade looks like a piece of chocolate you want to have a bite on. Okay, so out of 18 eyeshadows, 8 are velvety, soft, powerfully pigmented mattes. Then 5 are high shine, buttery metallics. Then you will get these 3 multi-reflective shimmer cream marbles. Then this one right here is a matte cream marble, and this unique shade is a sheer pearly gloss hybrid. That means you will be able to experience 5 different textures of eyeshadows in one palette and can create some really amazing looks for sure. And this thing I really like about Huda Beauty, they focus on innovating different types of textures in their palettes, and in that way it's quite nice. Like, we will be able to experience different textures while playing with different shades, and it's super fun, right? And it's not like the simple powdery shimmer and foil finish that you will get in every single palette out there in market. You are going to experience different textures, and I really like this thing about Huda Beauty. It's quite unique that they are providing different textures for you to play and experience and enjoy the makeup game. While applying the makeup, you can enjoy different textures, and this thing is quite unique. And you will be able to see that many of her palettes has different kind of textures in their eyeshadows. Now let me share the hand swatches of these eyeshadows, and also I'm going to share this Eyelook tutorial. It's super amazing. It looks really beautiful, and trust me, it's very easy to create. And also I have some really nice thing to say about this particular slippery shade right here, and I'm gonna share how you can get most use out of this particular one, and also we'll talk about other textures as well. So let's go. Alright, so now I'm going to share how to achieve this really nice eye look, and I'm going to share a step-by-step tutorial on my right eye. And for that, of course, I'm going to use this Naughty Nude Eyeshadow palette by Huda Beauty. Firstly, I'm going to define my crease, and for that, I'm going to use the shade Juicy. Over the shade Juicy, I'm going to use the shade Rough just to soften that juicy shade on my crease. Now I'm applying shade Hard on the outer half of my eyelid. Now let's move on to the metallic shades, and for the center of eyelid I'm going to use the shade Please Me. I'm going to apply the shade Please Me with the help of my finger on the center of my eyelid right here. Just pressing it nicely. Now for the inner half of my eyelid, I'm going to use the shade Tantric. I'll be applying this very precisely with the help of my finger right here, just to add a little bit of luster to this particular eye look. Like that, very precisely. Just cleaning the extra bit with the help of other finger. Just cleaning the extra bit and again topping it up with the same shade. Again, I'm going in with that Please Me shade, just a very tiny bit, and placing it on the center to merge the shade Tantric in the shade Please Me. Like that, so that the entire eye look, the entire ombre effect appears very smooth and even looking. Of course, these metallic, sparkly, shimmery shades has a little bit of fallout, so I'm dusting off that fallout. Again, I'm blending a little bit of that hard shade right here, so that sparkly shade can be easily merged in the matte shade, that is the shade hard. So I'm gonna apply just a tiny bit and blend it really nicely. This will make the entire look appear very soft and even and not at all harsh and patchy. So yeah, it's quite a must step. Okay, so for lower lash line, I'm going to use 3 most delicious shades from this palette, and all 3 of them are the deeper shades. The shade Untamed, then the shade Naughty, and the shade Spicy. I'm going to take 3 of them a little bit on this brush from Pac, and will be smudging on the lower lash line. Little bit of all 3 deeper shades from this palette, and let's go. Now here I'm gonna add a little twist. I'm gonna just flick it a little bit from the outer corner, of my lower lash line in a slant way like the eyeliner, and then I'll be merging it into the crease line. So let's do it, and this will look really nice and smoked out. So let's do it. Now this particular step is quite important to make the eye look appear very soft and even looking, and for that I'm going to use the shade Rough very little bit, and will be blending it on the upper side like right here to soften that shade Rough and make the entire eye look appear very even. This step will make sure that there is no any kind of harshness left from the other shades. Same thing I'm going to do on my lower lash line. Very little bit, not too much, very little bit. Just to make the entire shade appear very soft and tame that harshness. Okay, so you saw that all that harshness is gone, and now the entire eye look is appearing very soft and Nice. Now I'll be highlighting the inner corner of my eye by using the shade Flower Power, and especially I'm gonna take the sparkly part of that shade. Very tiny bit, and applying it very precisely right here. Highlighting the inner corner of eyes binds the entire eye look together and makes it look super beautiful. These shimmery shades has a little bit of fallout, so I'm gonna dust that off. Yeah. Now I'll be applying a really nice soft brown eye definer on my lower lash line and on my upper lash line, and all the other products that I'm using in this video will be mentioned in description box, so don't forget to check. Now I'm curling my eyelashes. And for mascara, I'm going to use Huda Beauty Legit Lashes, and I'll be applying the curl and length side of this mascara. I already applied a really nice bronzer on my face, and for blush I'm gonna mix two shades from this palette. One is going to be the shade Juicy and second is the shade Arouse. Mixing both shades really nicely, just a little bit, not too much, very light, and applying them as a blush. You saw, really beautiful. In that way, this palette is quite versatile, so I appreciate that. Now I'm applying my favorite highlighter. That is Matte Soft and Gentle, of course. Now for lips, I'm going to use two beautiful shades to create a really nice ombre lip look. So first shade is this Lime Crime Velvetines Liquid Matte Lipstick in the shade Wicked. Now I'm going to apply the Huda Beauty Liquid Matte Lipstick in the shade Trendsetter on the center part of my lips. Okay, so let's talk about the different textures of eyeshadows that this Huda Beauty Naughty Nude palette has. So firstly, talking about the mattes. So they are amazing, they applies beautifully, they appears very soft on skin. Even the deeper shades are something which blends like dream, and you won't experience much fallout. And one more very interesting thing, that you won't experience that the deeper shades are patchy. They are not patchy at all, which I think is great. Secondly, those 5 different beautiful metallic shades, so they are buttery soft. They are beautifully pigmented, but definitely you are going to face a little bit of fallout. As you saw in the Eyelook tutorial, there was a little bit of fallout, but I can definitely ignore that because I love the color story of this palette, and you will experience fallout in many other palettes as well. So let's just ignore that, and you will be able to apply this very easily with the help of brush as well, which is great. And even mattes are very pigmented, and I love that. Now thirdly, these gorgeous shimmer cream marble shades. They are very soft, applies beautifully on skin, blends also really very nicely. But here you will have to keep in mind is that they are blend of 2 different shades. So sometimes the exact shade will be a little bit unpredictable sometimes, and for that exact shade you will have to swirl the finger on the pan really nicely to get the exact shade and for the exact application. Otherwise it's a really nice shift of 2 different beautiful shades, and I really like to experience this kind of thing. I really like this duochrome kind of finish with my eye look. So I personally really like, and it's quite unique and fun, and I would love to play with that shade, with those shades more and more. And yeah, as I said, you will have to swirl on the pan really nicely for the exact shade. And if you want to be predictable that what kind of shade you're gonna achieve, you will have to swirl the finger really nicely on pan. Yeah. And when you mix those 2 shades and apply on lid, you will see that duochrome shift. Looks very gorgeous, quite unique, right? Now fourth, I'm going to talk about this creamy matte marble, that is the shade Hard, and it's a really nice mix of 2 beautiful shades. One is tan yellow and another one is brown, so you will get a really nice mix of 2. And when you apply it, at first it applies creamy and then it dries down to a matte finish. And in my opinion, I personally experienced that you will have to yes, you will have to blend it quite quickly as compared to the other shades. Not very quickly, but a little bit quickly as compared to the other shades. So yeah, this you will have to keep in mind when you're playing with that shade, and you will see that it blends beautifully. Yes, this thing is really nice. That cream to marble, when it sets from cream to marble, it blends beautifully, applies beautifully with no effort, and I love that. Now fifth is this unique sheer pearly gloss hybrid. Everyone was very curious and excited to experience this particular shade, and when they experienced, everyone has different opinions. So I also have my opinion that I'm going to share with you lovely people right now. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about this shade Slippery. The shade description itself is enough that how this particular shade will perform. It's a sheer pearly gloss hybrid. Very easy to understand in my opinion. I just got the drill of this shade at the very first description that we got from Huda herself, and I was like, okay, still I'm gonna buy this palette. It's gonna work for me really nicely. Yeah. But many people had a complaint with this shade, and that is when they're applying this glossy shade, that is slippery shade, over the other shades, it's not looking nice. It's taking away the luster, the shine of other shades that are beneath the glossy one. It's not looking nice, and it's making the eye look crumbly. It's taking away the pigment as well, and it's looking patchy too. So these were all the complaints that I saw in many of the review videos, but I have my opinion to share, and I think this will help you to understand, this will help you to get that how you can get most use out of this particular shade. So yeah. As per the complaint that many beauties out there has with this particular shade, so let me tell you, it's an absolute common sense. For example, when we put a wet or glossy finish over a dry or powdery finish, then the powdery finish, the dry finish one will get soaked up into the glossy one, the wet one. So after that, the shimmeriness, the luster, the pigment of the dry one is going to be completely soaked up into the wet one, and you won't be able to see that pigment, that shine, that luster, that shimmeriness that the powder one already has, because it's all soaked up into the wet one, and it's an absolute common sense that this is going to happen with this shade. So now, how to use this shade? So it's all about experimenting a little bit and find the best way to use this as per your preference. I also have some of my preferred way to use this particular slippery shade that I'm going to share with you right now. First is use it on its own on the bare skin. Don't apply this over a concealed skin. Don't apply this particular shade over a concealer. Also, just apply very tiny quantity, very little amount on the lid and get that wet glossy lid look for the Instagram pictures and photo shoots. You can also apply a little bit on your cheekbones to amp up that glossiness, that glossy wet look that everyone likes to take. Many people likes to take for their Instagram photo shoots and all that. But this will last for really less time. Like, just apply for some time, take pictures, slay the makeup look in pictures just to post on social media. That's it. Second, and one of my most preferred way to use this slippery shade will be use it as a gloss, like a lip gloss. It will add a really nice plumpiness to the lips and will add that pink and bronzy shimmery shift on lips, which will appear really nice. So if you're into the glossy lips look, you have it in your palette itself, which is great. Now third is again a very useful way to apply this eyeshadow is as a base eyeshadow. Apply this as a base eyeshadow. Use very tiny quantity over a bare skin, not over a concealed skin. Apply very tiny quantity, then go in with this shimmery shade from this palette or from any other palette or any shade you like to put on that slippery shade. So you will experience that the shimmery shade is looking more lustrous, more pigmented, and your eye look will get amped up. Yes, yeah. This will make your shimmery shade appear more blingy and pigmented, and that is something which many of us beauties really want. But here is a tip for you. Again, I'm repeating this. Apply a very tiny quantity. Don't overdo it. Don't apply too much. Because if you apply too much, this is definitely gonna crumble a lot. When you apply less quantity, the shimmery shade, the powdery one, will get soaked up over that slippery shade, and it will give a really nice pigment. In that way, it will be very useful. So make sure to use very tiny quantity and don't use it over a concealer. Now here you can see the hand swatches of few shades with and without a slippery shade as a base eyeshadow, and have a look at the pigment difference. Now one little bit of info about these 5 unique shades. Shades Slippery, Provocative, Flower Power, Passion and Shade Hard. All these 5 shades will appear different in pan in every single eyeshadow palette. Okay, because they are the mix of 2 different shades, so they are gonna appear different in every single pan of eyeshadow palette, and this will also look different. Some will have less pearls, some will have more pearls, maybe the tiny pearls, some will have chunky pearls, so it's completely normal. Just wanted to put out there. And I will definitely share the Eyelook tutorial with that slippery shade, and will share other details with the tutorial because I like something unique in such a big eyeshadow palette and not just a single formula in the entire palette. For me, it's a big yes for this palette because the color story is also very beautiful, will flatter on all skin tone beauties beautifully, and you're getting variety of nude shades and with different textures, like with various textures to play, and that is something that I absolutely love. And I highly recommend this palette if you're more into nude shades category, and if you are a bride to be and you want to invest in a really good eyeshadow palette that has some amazing nude shades and different textures, then this palette is something you must have. And if you want to invest in a really good quality eyeshadow palette with amazing mattes as well, because the mattes are super soft and blends beautifully, they are not patchy, not harsh, and very pigmented as well. And I applied 2 shades as blush, and it's something very nice. It looks beautiful, and I highly recommend this palette. I love it, and I'm very happy with my purchase. So this is a bigger palette by Huda Beauty, which is priced at 5,375 rupees for 16.8 grams of quantity, but I personally think this worth the money, and I love it. One more thing, you are getting different tones of nude shades in one palette, so you don't need to carry multiple palettes. In that way, this is also really nice and worth buying palette, worth investing if you are a bride to be, or if you are someone who loves to play with different makeup, different eyeshadow palettes, then you can definitely try this one as well. You will definitely enjoy the various textures. So this was my review. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, then don't forget to like, share, comment your beautiful words, and subscribe for more such videos. I will see you soon in my next video. Till then, take care. Bye.